Hello everyone and welcome to my new Minecraft world. We're starting out in the Pine Barrens, one of the many modded locations found in this world. We're going to head over here where we have a medical supply stash with some bug bite cream and a loot chest, which is going to come in handy quite soon. It's a relatively simple standard one with some of the treasure saplings. So, in this Let's Play, I intend to basically stay as long as possible. Maybe not a full forever world, but I want to do everything. This mod pack is custom made by me, so yes, there is some cases of overlap. It's not publicly available for download, and that's okay. But there's plenty of plants, magical creatures, all these fun things. Obviously, we have Ultimine, which allows me to harvest things just a little bit faster. It's always nice. In case you're wondering, this is a voiceover afterwards. So there will be some hiccups as I have never done a post-recording voiceover. Here we have a little friendly crab. But also, I wanted to try recording for the first time in a long time. I haven't tried recording any sort of Let's Plays in, dang, probably almost 10 years at this point. Here we have some flamenco strawberries. These specifically are the ones from Farm and Charm, as we are heading into this Apothic Tower. Just a nice spiral staircase. Gotta crouch at the top. We grab all the bookshelves and most of the carpet before searching for the chest, which I do believe is, yep, right there. Most of the mods do not have any sort of custom configs installed, although some of them do. Mostly one mod called Deadly Dinos from Dragon007, which adds various types of injuries and the like. Mostly because, well, during my test run I broke my foot and was inflicted with slowness after falling just slightly too far. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But for the most part, they are in their vanilla state. This mod pack is in 1.20.1 on Forge. Yes, not Neoforge, not Fabric. As much as I want to try and do something in Fabric, I have yet to find a mod pack that really calls to me. And Neoforge and Forge are, in my experience, similar enough. Over here we have a little honey golem who is just oh so cute. I wanted to make sure you guys saw him. And here I'm being attacked by what I do believe is a Trudon. You know, classic Minecraft things. But in here, this giant windmill, there is a lot of loot, and I do come back for the loot later. Obviously, with the avian flu, that didn't happen. Towards the morning, as the avian flu started to wear off, I headed closer to the ocean, looking for a good place, hopefully on this island, or at the least nearby, where I can start my base. As I really want this small town sort of vibe, like a coastal town. And heading out onto the ocean in this cute little mangrove canoe, I do end up finding a new area of land. And this Forgotten Woods is one of my favorite biomes to be near, just not my favorite to build in. So I go, I wonder if there's anywhere nearby that I can build. Ignoring the boss bar, of course, I see a basalt beach, which is another one of my favorites to see. But also several new types of wood. There is so many different options. It's honestly a little overwhelming because I spent a long time playing 1.7.10 pretty much exclusively. I would occasionally play like 1.12, but on my old laptop, even vanilla 1.12 was a struggle, much less modded. And then I got my previous computer, and you know, it struggled with the newer versions of Minecraft if it wasn't on a server. So I was pretty much stuck in the 1.7.10 or 1.16.5 modding eras. So it's always been kind of nice to test out the new ones, even if we're getting chased by hostile dinosaurs. Sounds like they're laughing at me. How rude. The Deadly Dinos mod, as probably, I think, the 4th dinosaur-related mod in the mod pack, adds a bunch of different dinosaurs, and unlike the others, these are naturally spawning. Unfortunately, fighting the Megaraptors was probably less than interesting, but I will say they have very good looking models. I just wish that their skin animation a tad bit better. But hey, honestly, it's not a mod that fits particularly well into vanilla Minecraft. But that's kind of the fun of modding. Not everything's gonna match 1-to-1. Even the most Dropified mods are going to look just slightly out there. And it's always nice to give newer mods a try, even if they're not the most stable. And honestly, I quite like Dragon's mods. We're continuing our exploration now that we're out of that, and see a hamster. Little fella. Now, specifically, these are the adorable hamster pets, which means that they can be a little bit more cheeky, a little bit more dangerous. Here we have a little opossum with an O. Have another one. Oh, I love Faunify. Here we have some more different types of woods, a bush, different types of birch trees. If you are wondering, one of the resource packs that I am using is called Stay True. Kind of a vanilla plus plus, I would say. Not quite super vanilla, but a little bit more in line with the typical modding standards, I would say. I do end up removing the Pagan's Blessings mod, as fun as, well, as cute as it is, as I just couldn't find much information on it, and I couldn't end up replanting the plants, which was personally my big appeal. I like plants, I like decorating. I'm not the best at building, but I do enjoy it. Over here ends up being roughly around where we end up building our base. In this lovely orchid biome. Orchid? No. Orchard. In this lovely orchard biome. See some of the... I do believe that is belladonna from the Pagan's Blessing. I'd love to add it back in once there's more available information. And ideally the plants get added so that you can plant them again. I avoid the fairy village like the plague, as that now means we're in the sort of danger zone when it comes to ice and fire. Because ice and fire mobs don't start generating by default until about 200 blocks away from spawn. Checking out this cool looking ravine. Got a little outhouse over here. And a passerine from Habitat. Oh, so cute. We continue exploring. I end up deciding that I quite like the orchid biome. Oh my god, I did it again. The orchard biome. Although the windswept lavender fields, so pretty. I mean, honestly, I tried to, when making my own personal mod pack, make sure everything is up to my personal standards. Which, granted, tends to be more aesthetic focused versus, say, what's the word I'm looking for? More aesthetics focused than, say, ease. I don't like single block machines. So even though I have made exactly one item with create, I added create. Checking out this den here, which I do recall there being something dangerous in it. Yep. We'll eventually come back to this, but not quite yet. Just a cool place. We get the first Bumble Zone achievement. The last mod pack that I was playing before this one was a personal variant on the regrowth mod pack. If you are familiar, as there is a sort of remake, reimagining of it in, I do believe it's called Reclamation. I intend to eventually play that one as well, but for the most part, still playing the original 1.7.10 with a couple of tweaks, a couple new mods. We have some mice from Faunify. So cute. I actually need to remember that that woolly sheep is there because I am a decent ways ahead of you guys. Currently recording the stuff for episode 3 as I am doing the voiceover. As my intention is to have a good... Aw, poor Mousy. A good backlog before I start uploading these. And also, it's a good way to get some practice. See that there's quite a few interesting looking caves over here, but nothing compares to one a little bit later. I do believe the clip of it will appear in episode 2. Over here we have one of the many villager tents, but we're ignoring that as I go exploring for more items. Around this point I am trying to collect different types of saplings, different things that can be found in chests, lots of plants, trying to up the variety of materials that I have for use. Here we have a very awkwardly flooded fisherman's cabin sort of deal, which I feel like that's a unfortunate thing. Empty out some of my inventory. I don't think that I ended up doing very much over here, but I did check out the shipwreck eventually and found that there was absolutely nothing in the chest. Say hello to the fisherman, as we have a mod that adds little individualized quests. My eventual goal in this mod pack is to alter it to basically my ideal mod pack. Add new quests, add new things to do, tweak the spawns so that different things spawn more and spawn less. But for this first edition, I just wanted to have fun with as close to vanilla as possible. Swimming across the way, we come across another ruins. Another one of these towers. But also, there is our first of many custom villages. This is, I do believe, from Integrated Villages. And is a nice and cozy sort of cabin in the woods vibes, although I do end up having to clear out all of these hollies. And I do come back for various pets. After some excited jumping, I continue my exploration. Just kind of checking out what all resources can be found here. After all, it's not always that you find 2 different floating villages right on top of a different village. To make matters worse, or better, I make a waypoint here. But there is one of the Cataclysm boss arenas right underneath the airship village. Yeah. Crazy. After seeing this poor baby villager getting hurt, I decided to start tearing out all of the dark holly. I also notice that there is a lush cave seemingly right around here. Oh, I guess I didn't do the holly excavation just yet. Whoops. But here is my boat, alongside one of the places I had explored. Which honestly there wasn't super interesting there going on in there, but I do believe I am apparently planting the spruce saplings, because I have some blue spruce. And I do believe I am coming back to gather what is left, including the potato from the zombie that I killed. It's a gold star potato too. Here we have, right off of the coast where I intend to build Berryville, or at least the start of Berryville, we have a shipwreck and an actual boat, alongside what looks like a siren's rock a little bit farther away. In case you're wondering why I'm avoiding the buried treasure map, there was a crash in a previous attempt, and I just want to avoid that crash. You know, that was a pain in the butt to try and restore. I had to save from a backup, which thankfully hadn't been too far away. But it was still something I'd just rather avoid. And yeah, sometimes the looter chests are just empty for some reason, and it sucks. But here we have one of the many ruins. Get a bit of cool stuff. Get some more air. Get some more cool stuff. I'm not going to be like struggling for Hearts of the Sea or anything like that due to the Let's Do Beach. Or is it Let's Do Beach Party? Case in point, not going to be struggling for that because the beach houses, I do believe, also use the treasure spawns. It takes me a little bit to figure out how to get into this boat the easiest, because I don't want to apply anything. But, it was a struggle. I eventually end up building up, or cutting my way through, I can't quite remember. And placing everything back whenever I was ready. I do eventually want to do a bit of a makeover to this boat. And by that, I mean add ladders. Just ladders. That's all I really need. I forgot that I had an axe for a moment. Put the boat back where I found it. Just a cute little boat. Spot some turtle eggs, which I'm excited about. Understandably so. I quite like the turtles. Get the cartography table and the cobblestone furnace. And head downstairs. And there is quite a bit of goodies in here. Now I will say, I also have keep inventory on because I'm personally of the opinion if you're going to have gravestones, you might as well just use keep inventory. And that's not a bad thing. I like playing with keep inventory. That is fine. It is up to people. There's a reason why it's not in hardcore, because I don't enjoy hardcore. I enjoy watching other people play hardcore, but to me, the stress isn't worth it. Especially for someone who is still relatively new to the newer versions of the game. So, grab everything that's in there, or most of it anyways, and head back to where I have put down a waypoint for Berryville. Here is my current setup. Oh. Whoops. Here is me raiding that old windmill. My apologies. It seems I forgot what happens next. This is basically just me clearing out as much items that I can eventually use as possible. As I'm very new to the Create mod, I have built one elevator in a creative world. That's it. That's genuinely it. It had a windmill. That's pretty much all I can say about it. It was my least favorite part of the base, but I hope to get better at it. Here we're checking out the oceans, as I do believe this is whenever I decided to adventure into the dimensional door, because yeah, I like my cozy, but honestly, I also like it if there's a bit of edge to a cozy. Also, I am sorry if anyone has arachnophobia. One of the mods adds little particles, and one of them is tiny spiders all over spider webs. But the dimensional doors is a personal favorite of mine. I've played with them for quite a while, and I enjoy seeing them in newer versions, and seeing all the new ones. I also tamed this donkey back towards the village, and I ended up finding out that there was another donkey as well. Honestly, taming her was fine and dandy. Nothing really went wrong. I brought her home. In case you're wondering, I also got attacked by a pillager. One of the fancy pants ones from Savage and Ravage. And I eventually come back for some wolves that I had spotted. But I also took out the Centerman first. As you can see, I also have better combat. Unfortunately, no Ender Pearl. But Wolfie! Here is me heading down to check out this underground ravine. Quite a big fan. I do quite like my underground ravines and the like. But occasionally it's good to check them out, because due to the abundance in wildlife, sometimes creatures spawn on them and get set down and die in a way that allows me to yoink their goodies. But while exploring in this area, terrifying. Those poor mackerel? I think it's mackerel. I end up finding what ends up being one of my favorite parts of this place that I didn't even know about. Under this tight little narrow squeeze is a cave. And quite a big cave. You can see by the slime moths that this should also be a slime chunk. I take some time to explore this lovely cave. As you can see, I changed my GUI mod. I end up removing it because as cool as the integrated one is, and there is mod support, I just can't do it. I don't know why. For the most part, I don't end up harvesting anything on this first run. It's a run as fast as you can, light up as much, see what all there is. As you can see, there is a amethyst geode with a entire cabin inside. Cool concept. Not the best execution on account of it being world gen overlapping. Kinda causes some issues. Here we have one of our first creeper variants. I do believe it's called a deeper. They hurt. One of the mods that I have is called Relics, which works together with artifacts. And it adds all these little caves, little cave camps that occasionally have really cool artifacts. Unfortunately, sometimes there are also mimics. Smack. Creeper explodes anyways. Got 2 deepers, so I decide to turn right around to watch my server back up real fast. And check out this little underground cabin. Alex's Caves! Also one of the few that have had any config alterations. That basically just makes them spawn a little bit closer and a little bit larger. As I learned later, the little bit larger is quite a bit larger in one case. As while we won't see it for a while, it's a chunk. It's a chunk. And I don't say that lightly, it's a chunk. It is by far one of the largest biomes, singular, in the ocean I have ever seen. That's not just a straight regular old biome. Oh, the amethyst looks so pretty. I can see my target. More books and the spelunkery table. I come back to this though. After breaking the trapdoors, because unfortunately, can't bend. After this, I do believe I head back out with my pockets full of copper that I have been harvesting elsewhere. Because there is a ton of tiny caves. Here is me climbing up a tower. These towers, of course, typically have a waystone, which is the real treasure we made along the way. I can see a little picnic over there in the middle of the river. For some reason, one of the mods also makes it so that the bread recipe is changed ever so slightly. Still don't know what that's about, but I do know I have a bunch of goodies. And for some reason, I completely missed the fact that I could have inputted it into my backpack up until this point. I take everything and grab my first paraglider, giving myself a little bit more mobility. You can see a bunch of different smaller, typically structures, including a lighthouse, which we will explore a different lighthouse later. And here we go into our first time lapse, where I begin the construction on the first building. This made from cut tough, cut andesite, a little bit of fossilized stromatite. Let's see, what else is in there? There's some cobblestone bricks. And this is just supposed to be a very basic basement area. I will pretty much never end up using Lightmatica because personally, I don't enjoy the copy-paste. Let's just do exactly what I have already made. I enjoy the experimental stage. Get the achievement out for a stroll. The achievements. These are from a data pack that adds additional achievements. And they're quite fun. Some of them are more difficult than others. There's a hardcore variant if you prefer hardcore. I personally do not, so I am not using it. I'll let you guys sit back and enjoy the music. begin my adventures in attempting to make my dock. As one major thing is that there is a lot of upgrades to the ocean and fishing in this mod pack. From hybrid aquatic to fantastic, baby fat, dragons, both deep blue and genetic betas. The goal was plenty of fish, plenty of fishing, and plenty to do. So I wanted a nice open fishing dock where I could do my work. Unfortunately, the chomping noises did annoy me. As it turns out, sometimes there are sharks that like to spit out their prey, or spread out items related to their prey. And we cut back to over in this Monster Hunters area, back in the Skyrus Vale, as what I thought had been another wolf was actually a cute little fox. As you can see, I am also using Dragon's Livestock Overhaul, all of the add-ons, which also means that foxes are tameable. Now, are they fun to tame? Debatable. It could be a lot worse. I have been known to occasionally chase cats like crazy, especially in the newer versions, as I started experimenting with them. And here we have our fox, as I'm also being shot at. But coming back, we have a beautiful whale as I show off the current progress, as I had built an additional tower. I'm not the biggest fan of this decision, but I do quite like the gradient. This is the inside, and this is the bottom, where I have 2 trader llamas that I yoinked, and here is another time lapse. This one is mostly just me adding some decorative details to the lower floors. In total, this took me, I don't know, I'd say about 5 hours in total. And here's me stealing back my donkey that managed to escape through the window. Not a good jumper. As you can see, I got another wolf. 2 wolves, I actually think. And I begin trying to... Well, I was decorating. But now we're going to check out one of the airships, which has a funny issue relating to the fact it's over an ocean biome. So the Dragon's Deep Blue eye fish are spawning in weird locations. However, I also do end up checking the other airship, or floating island. I don't take everything that I find over here, because there was just so much. So much. It did give me a lot of sacks, though. As you can see, all the sharks and the krill are spawning and dying over and over. It had a waystone built in, which now means, accompanied by my own waystone, I will have an easier time entering. And as I am leaving, a potential friend spawned. This is another mod where I edited everything in the configs as the mythical creatures or mythical mounts. Some of them were aggressive and not in ways that were fun. I'm talking like not quite one shot, but very, very, very awkward to hit. And you had to tame them the same way you would a horse. This did not have the same luxury as, say, the amphitheaters from Ice and Fire, where they only start attacking you after you're already on top of them. No. I mean, as in, I could not figure out how to fix the issue. So I turned all the hostilities off. I don't end up using the dragon very often, because it's just a little bit too easy. But exploring over here, grabbing what I can physically store, I'll come back to here later. It is a very lovely place after all, and I know that I'm missing one of the chests. But there was a saddle. So I head out to try and get that dragon. And also try and get this guy back. Hello, Mr. Create. Yes, yes. Come back in. Go home. As you can see, it's not the prettiest staircases, but my prior attempt at a custom mod pack actually involves Sky Islands. I love Sky Islands. They are one of my favorite tropes in all of fantasy. Just as much as, say, floating islands and sky villages. They just usually don't involve copious amounts of dead krill. And also the dragon knocked me to the ocean. Thankfully, my little climbing section was still there. Otherwise, it'd be a long, long walk. Tamed like a horse, and now we have Pansy. And at this point, I vow to only use Pansy for very certain things, not for exploration or anything. I feel like that has to be earned. And as much as I love the Mythical Mounts mod, I think this stuff is so cute. Definitely could use some work. Maybe a little less dangerous, a little more creative in the taming process, but mods are mods. It's a creative endeavor. Here we have me exploring as I have a nature's compass to find a mangrove swamp. I find a, what's its face? A ruined aether portal. Where I also end up being attacked by angry, angry fish called rippers. Basically, I realized that mangrove would be the perfect companion to one of the roof gradients. However, it was also nice to get the glowstone, as I intend to, whenever I build my enchanting area, which will also double as several of my other magical workshops to also have my 2 main portals right there. But that's for the next episode. This is me not enjoying the exploration parts because at a certain point I acquired a, let's just say a fan. I did see penguins. You can see right where I died not that long ago. On my first take of this journey. I did a second take not that long after. I avoid the drown with the trident. See a cool little friend. Avoid said cool little friend. And get my newest fan. And then find a second one. So row as fast as I can. Find a cool salt cave. Vow to come back to it. But didn't bookmark it. Lost one of the fans, but the other, I know, just obsessed with me. I do end up vowing to come back to this area, and there is a place where I end up making a waypoint. This little tidal town with a ocean village right underneath it. I don't mean like ocean village as in ocean villagers. I mean as in like fish people villagers. Unfortunately, I still have a big fan. Very annoying big fan. After losing the big fan, getting a waypoint close to it, I stumble upon the mangrove swamp. Glorious, glorious mangrove. Found lots of villages on the way, many of them with their own waystones, so that I can come back and pretty them up eventually. I take my slow descent into the swamp. Start grabbing tropicals. I also on the way grab some magnolia, which is another in the same gradient. I end up deciding on a very red gradient for the roofs of Berryville, as the name Berry just gives very red vibes. You know, sure, there's also blueberries and blackberries. When I think of berries, I think of raspberries, strawberries. I mean, the first time that I attempted this, it was supposed to be actually Strawberryville. I wasn't quite happy with that take, though. There wasn't very much room, unless I wanted to expand into the ocean, which was great, except I didn't want to expand into the ocean. Now, unfortunately for me, there's also a lightning dragon around this area. But, more importantly, there's an Elder Guardian. Still not quite used to the setup. Oh my god, did I forget to cut this? God dang it. Oh, I thought I did so good. Oh well. Yep. And that's where I noticed the lightning dragon nest. There's also a pufferfish over there. But lightning dragons are asleep during the daytime. What could possibly go wrong? A lot of things, actually. Mainly the fact that in my harvesting of various other types of colorful woods, I do end up staying until nightfall. And my goodness, colorful woods indeed. Just so many. Like, I do believe I grabbed both acacia and flowering acacia. I like the flowers, they're quite pretty. There's also these little peach trees, which I know used to have saplings, but I just can't seem to get them anymore. It's a shame, because I quite like them. I also grabbed some cucumber seeds. And yeah, I kind of accepted that my death was going to occur, and it occurred exactly the way you would expect. But here's me attempting to make the roof. Trying out a different roof than what I would normally go with. Bit more steep. And I mess up quite a few times, honestly. But I get it in the end. I adjust a back porch, which ends up being Pansy's little hideout spot for quite a while before I go on a little adventure where I end up finding my first diamonds. Well, first as in the wild. As you can see, the krills still manage to haunt me as we reach a really cool cave down at bedrock. Like, look at this. We got waterfalls, got fish, got fish dying. I continue my adventures. Oh, look, a chest. Oh, gosh. Yeah, that was very fake. I get a cool little artifact. Exploring more of the larger parts of the cave. Avoiding the boss. I end up finding a mine shaft. And even better, a lapis geode and a little rascally friend. The rascal is quite cute. We play hide and seek for a little bit. What a cutie. And I get an extra bundle. What's in the bundle? A new pickaxe. And honestly, not a half bad pickaxe either. There's also a spider spawner right underneath me, which is very annoying sounding. But I grab a bunch of stuff. elect to come back eventually. Because there is just no way I'm going to be able to fit all this stuff. Clearly there was a fire over here. It's not that surprising, but also a bunch of emeralds. And also, what ends up becoming one of my favorite artifacts, a magic mirror. With all that out of the way, I do believe I head back home almost immediately with said magic mirror and begin constructing the area where I want to put my waypoint. Or not my waypoint, my waystone, which I realize I moved a bit too close. But also I end up putting a gold board right in the same area. Just supposed to be a little simple thing, not super fancy. I end up moving the side that it sits on because, come on, lovely view of the ocean. This is where I put my next goals. Build a barn. Build a farm. Build a stable. Expand the fishing dock. Before I decide to exit out of that one and build a retaining wall instead. This one ends up being build an enchanting tower. And this one is a bit more abstract. I sit on it for quite a while, but figure out a create farm ends up being what I decide on. What I was planning on building a second one of? No idea. After fighting with all the sticks, I put down the Berryville waystone. Add a little roof to the building. Also made out of this western larch. Do some parkour. It's a relatively simple roof. I don't think it will stay a gazebo, as I do eventually want to move it. look through all my stuff, grab the lantern, which have a lovely little 3D model this time. And there we have Berryville. I also plop down the twigs and the ladder just to try and clear them out of my inventory before tossing the ladder away because I didn't want to make more. And now for the house tour, at least the first edition. You can see Pansy up there enjoying herself, taking a nap on the back porch. We have my lovely little dock. The back windows. Primarily, if memory serves, it is made out of oak and pine, and then it moves up into that larch. See, I did a little bit of terraforming with spruce as the supporting block. I had started on an interior and some decoration, but decided that I wanted to do that with you once I got more into the kitchen-y mods. My downstairs is filled with sacks and a trophy that scares me every time I go down there. My previous mod pack also had From the Fog. Most of this place is still currently empty, and I hope to fill it out eventually. Ignore the roof in that area. I forgot to finish it off. We got botany plant going with some mangrove. We got pansy. And we got a lovely, lovely view of the ocean underneath her talons. But I don't particularly want her to stay right there, and that is where I will call it here. Thank you guys so much for watching.